You have more power than you think. When the inside aligns, the outside shines. Feel your heart create your life. Step on up, it's time to thrive.
Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the Mindset Check podcast. I'm your host, Misha McKittrick. This is a podcast where I believe that as you take time for a mindset check, you have more power than you think you do, especially when you influence your subconscious mind. We'll get more into that, but first, tell me, did you love the intro? It's really just something that I was messing around with. There is actually this app called Suno, S-U-N-O, and this app is so fun to play on. I was thinking of hiring a professional to create an intro and outro to my podcast, one that is just more personalized. And I thought, oh my word, why don't I try Suno first? And that's one of the songs that Suno came up with for me in a matter of minutes. So let me tell you a little bit about this app, because I think there's something that's really fun that you can do with it. So when I first found it, I created a song for my husband for his birthday. And really what it has you do is just type in like the type of song that you want to create. And then it has you type in some highlight things about what it is that you want the song to say. So it can be about anything, anyone, whatever. And when I created this song for Jake, I played it that morning. Our family, some of us were going to play pickleball in the morning on his birthday. And I played the song and he just got this big smile across his face. He loved it so much. And so I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun to tell you about it so that you could create like a personalized song for Valentine's or any upcoming birthdays or Father's Day, Mother's Day, anything like that? Wouldn't that just be so fun? Create a personalized song for anyone, really, your husband, your kids, your mom, your dad, whatever. It's so fun. So mess around with it. That's called Suno, S-U-N-O. And by the way, it's free. So just a little fun tip for you there. All right, last month and, kind of the beginning of the year content, we really focused on the message of you can and motivating you and helping you see, right, that there's more when we feel inspired. There's more for us to tap into and create when we are taking thoughtful, known action towards those things. And I love the idea of working within a theme for podcasts. So I thought, okay, for this month and for the next few episodes, I want to encourage you to love yourself. Because when you love yourself, love overflows from you, and it's so easy to give to the people in your life. And one of the best ways for you to love yourself is to believe in yourself. One of the best ways for you to believe in yourself is to strongly sway your subconscious mind toward your potential and the very best parts of you. This comes easily when you choose to define what you think and say after you say the words I am. So this month on the podcast, we're going to be chatting about messages that influence and elevate your belief, the beliefs that exist deep in your subconscious mind about who you are. Remember, you get to define this at any point in your life. And that is honestly the most freeing part about it. All right, so with that intro, let's just jump right into the podcast. So today I want to tell you just a couple of stories to help spark and percolate some ideas, okay, towards us really being able to believe in the best parts of ourselves, to really be able to reprogram those subconscious beliefs. So the first story I want to start with is called The Baby Camel and Her Mother. Once upon a time, there was a baby camel that lived with her mother. It was beautiful weather one Sunday afternoon. The mother and the baby camel were lying under a tree. The camel was very curious about things and always trying to learn from her mother. The calf put her curiosity cap on and asked, "Mother, may I ask you some questions?" The mother replied, "Sure, why not? Tell me what is bothering you." Getting a positive nod from her mother, the baby camel asked, "Why do camels have humps?" The mother camel smiled and replied to the innocent question of the calf. "We camels are desert animals. We spend our life in deserts. In desert areas, there is a scarcity of water. We have the humps to store water so that we can survive for many days with very little water." The baby camel was very happy after getting the answer from her mother. She thought for a moment and asked a second question. "Okay, mother, Why are our legs so long? And why do we have large, soft, and rounded feet? The mama replied, the camels are called the ships of the desert. The camels' long legs help to keep their bodies further away from the hot ground, and they have large, soft feet so they won't sink into the sand. They are meant in such a way so that we can walk properly in the desert. With these legs, we can move around the desert better than anyone does. The baby camel paused. After a beat, the baby camel asked, Mom, I would like to know, why do we have long eyelashes? They are so long that sometimes they get in my way and I'm not able to see properly. The mother camel responded, My love, those long, thick eyelashes are your protective cover. Those long, thick eyelashes protect your eyes from the desert sand when it blows in the wind. The baby thought for a while, and then she said, I see. So the hump is to store water when we're in the desert. The legs are for walking through the desert, and these eyelashes protect my eyes from the desert. The mom replied, Exactly. You got everything correctly. The baby camel looked a bit confused now. She asked, If God has given us so many talents to live in the desert, then what are we doing in the zoo? This time, Mother Camel went speechless. So I guess we can go a few different ways with that story, but the thing that I really want to point out more than anything is that how sometimes our skills and what is already inside of us isn't being used because of the environment or the places that we are putting ourselves in, right? Like our potential continues to be buried because the environment isn't complementary. And so I wanted to start off with that story just to help you start to percolate and think about what are the things that that story can bring up for you when you think about it like that. That you are already like, oh my word, like my potential is being covered up, or I'm not really allowing the possibilities in my life to exist because I'm in a limiting environment. I am limiting my skills, my knowledge, right? I'm not excelling. I'm not moving forward. I'm stagnant, right? So whatever kind of thoughts are kind of percolating about your life right now, that's a very good thing, because ultimately exploring our life like that helps us to understand more of who we really are and how what is already inside of us is trying to come forward. We need to do what we came here to do. And the only person who knows what that is you. When you're in line with what your purpose really is, it doesn't feel so much like effort. It feels like an expression of song, okay? Whether you're singing or not, just hypothetically. A lot of times we can fall into the trap of being what others need or expect us to be, right? And we really just need to make sure that we're being true to what's really inside of us. Placing yourself in the space that you were already made to be in. And sometimes the only thing that's blocking us from really allowing that to happen in our life is us, because we can become fearful and we can fall back. Like we aren't stepping forward with what we have to give. Instead, it's great to be able to understand that that is inside you for a purpose. It's trying to come out for a reason. You are well able to do the next right thing, the next right step for you. There is always a path for you. No matter what stage you're at in life, no matter what time, season, no matter what, there's already something inside of you that's churning and developing, and that is for you to be sharing with other people, right? For you to be sharing as a part of what you do and what makes you who you are. And I think another really big part of this is that we can kind of grapple with, well, I don't feel like I really have everything that I actually need to step into that role, okay? No matter what it is. And the thing is whatever you're supposed to be doing right now really is already inside of you, no matter what that is. Okay, so I want to tell you another story and try to help you see that point, the point that What is already inside of you is all that you need to take the next right step for you. This story is called The Parable of the Tree and the Seed. Once upon a time, in a village nestled at the foot of a great mountain, there was a gardener who longed to grow the tallest, strongest tree in the land. He imagined a tree that would stand proud, its branches stretching toward the heavens, providing shade and fruit for generations. One day, he planted a small seed in his garden and told himself, "In time, this seed will become the tree I envision. It will be mighty and full of life. But right now, it is just a tiny seed." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but the seed remained small, struggling to grow. The gardener became impatient, always looking toward the future, waiting for the day when the tree would finally become what he dreamed it to be. One morning, an old wise woman from the village visited the gardener. She noticed his frustration and asked, "Why are you so troubled?" The gardener sighed, "I have planted this seed, but it is not yet the tree I wish it to be. It will take years for it to grow into the vision I have." The gardener sighed, "I have planted this seed, but it is not yet the tree I wish it to be. It will take years for it to grow into the vision I have." The wise woman smiled and said, "What if the seed is already the tree? What if, in its essence, everything you hope for is already inside? Instead of waiting for it to become the tree, nurture it as though it already is. Water it with care, give it the light and love it needs, and it will grow into what you envision, because it is already that in its core." The gardener paused, reflecting on her words. From that day forward, he tended to the seed, not with impatience, but with the belief that the tree already existed within. He treated the seed as if it were the great tree he envisioned, and soon it began to flourish, its roots deepening and its branches reaching for the sky. It's really tricky in life to not define ourselves as the seed, right? Because as long as we define ourselves as the seed, we stay the seed. Isn't that really is true? And it's really interesting to ponder. We already are what we are becoming. Like, that's already inside of us and part of us. And the moment that we believe that we're that person, we begin to act and live in alignment with that reality. We nurture ourselves with that belief, and our life transforms. Just like the seed growing into the mighty tree. One of the best ways that I really love thinking about this is, when you can really ponder people who believed in you in your life. And what they saw in you was more than you actually were at the moment, right? Like, I hold the way that, I have numerous people who did this for me. The one that stands out the most really is my dad. My dad knew who I was. He knew who I was more than I knew. And, he talked with me a lot about that, and it shaped and formed who I am. That was already a part of me. But if you think about, what if I had, instead of that voice, what if I had a voice telling me that I wasn't good enough and that I couldn't measure up and I wasn't ever going to be more than just that seed or whoever I was at that time? It's truly remarkable to reflect on the influence of the messages that we receive, right? Whether they're from a person or from media or whatever it is, and how they actually shape us. It's great for you to ponder, is there anyone in your life that took that approach with you? Anyone that treated you like the person that you were actually becoming, maybe more so than who you were being at the time? And regardless of what that answer is, because it's great for that answer to inspire you and to allow, an overflow of gratitude to come into you, maybe, if you did have that. But the most important part of this equation is that you understand that you are actually your best steward in that respect. You are the one that can alter the messages that you are receiving about who you are. And taking a moment to reflect on the messages that you are currently receiving and the potential of the messages that you could be receiving and the way that they would affect your life is literally everything. Because the messages that we receive, they affect our beliefs, right? Especially those subconscious beliefs. And our subconscious beliefs are the most powerful ones because that's what runs our life on autopilot. It is quite impossible for us to be conscious a large percentage of our life, okay? Most of us really do run a lot of our lives on autopilot. That's why it's so important with the conscious time that we do have to influence the subconscious part of our life. It's truly time for us to stand forward and be the person, the great mentor for our own selves. And sometimes I like to think of it like my future self influencing, a younger version of me or me right now, because that also helps me know that I am becoming. And, what would that really wise person allow into my heart and my mind as far as messages? I believe that that person would ask me to believe in my potential and to see the very best parts of me, right? And to maybe even instill something that's kind of far-fetched for me to believe about myself. Because believing is the battle. Once you can get yourself to believe, it's over, it happens. Your desires and your thoughts is actually what shape the patterns inside of your brain. It's really fantastic to think about you nurturing this seed, nurturing the seed. And if a seed is all that that gardener ever thought that it would be, then I don't think he would properly nourish it. I think he would get to the point where he believed that there is zero purpose in watering this seed and helping this seed to be in the right environment to grow. Wow, right? So picture yourself as that gardener and ask yourself, what is it that you can do to nurture your seed? What is the reality that you can feed yourself and not the flip side? I love when Joel Osteen talks about using the power of I am to speak power into our life. This is a quote from him. He says, "Whatever follows I am will eventually find its way into your life." And then he talks to us about how the power of the I am statement is what is defining you. So if you say things like, I'm so tired, or I'm getting old and I'm fat, and you know what I mean? You are literally defining yourself. Like whether or not it's a joke or you are truly making that declaration because there's proof. You are defining yourself. And so it's time to define yourself in whatever way you want, right? And you can always say, I am becoming. If you cannot say yet the one thing that you really want, the one thing that you really desire, you can say, I am becoming XYZ. Joel Osteen says, we need to send out some new invitations into our life. So be very careful with what you choose to place after the words I am. As you place all of the stories together, right? The camel story and the need to be able to put ourselves in the right environment and to be able to allow our skills and our knowledge and our talents and abilities to be able to be used in the environments that we place ourselves in, right? Doing what we really came here to do. And the idea that if we treat ourselves as though we already are, then we already are. Right? The lesson in the parable from the tree and the seed. I hope that you can see that as you nurture yourself like the seed, as you place yourself in the right environments, and as you ponder, what is it that I can do to further believe in myself and in my potential, that you shift who you are. And in that, you have more power than you think you do. All right, my friend, I hope this message resonated with you. And if it did, encouragement to share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Also, make sure that you're subscribed because in our upcoming episodes, we're going to talk a little bit more about how the brain works on a scientific level to speak I am and to fill in the blank after that, or to define your own beliefs subconsciously. We're also going to have a really fun guest to chat about the power and the magic of affirmation statements and a how-to around how to actually bring forward new subconscious beliefs into your life. I also wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Trevor. I got a message from Trevor this week that said, "Hey Misha, I just wanted to say thanks for the meditations. They have been a big help." Trevor, it means so much for me to hear from you and that is something that's transforming and helping you in your life. Thank you so much for your message. Before we go, I want to leave a quote with you by Joseph Murphy. He says, "The subconscious mind is ruled by suggestion. It accepts all suggestions. It does not argue with you. It fulfills your wishes." Until next time, my friend, keep nurturing the power of I am.